Hello. So in the previous episode, we have added infinite nested comments, and we have also added an option to embed the Vimeo videos inside our posts. And we're going to make these things look better later on. So we're going to add some kind of cards for the comments and place the Vimeo video somewhere inside the post body later on. But now we'll work on something else, something totally new and interesting in my opinion. So at the moment we have an option to like, to dislike, and to unlike our posts. And what if we want to add functionality like watch later or hide forever or bookmark to our posts? Well, one option is that we could add a few join tables where we would have bookmarks, users, and posts relationships. So we would add a table with the post ID and user ID and name it bookmark. And we would have a button to create this bookmark or to remove this user post bookmark. But why should we do that if we have already added ActsAsVotable? We can just add some vote scopes. Now, at the moment, we are not using any vote scopes. So if we go into our console, start Rails console, and find ActsAsVotable.vote.all, for example, you see vote flag and is false because I voted down on this post, and vote scope is nil. And here we can have a string, and in the string we can have either something like or watch later or bookmark. And instead of just voting up or down, we are going to say that this is a vote with a vote scope like. This will also be a vote with a vote scope like, and we'll have separate voting where we are going to have a vote scope as bookmark. So we're not going to create an additional table. We're just going to use the ActsAsVotable functionality to add the voting on specific topics, like voting to add or to remove a bookmark, or creating this as ActsAsVotable object for watch later, for example, or for completed. So without further ado, let's try to add this functionality. Now I will exit the console and let's have a look. So we want to add an additional button here that would be a button to add a bookmark. And if we go to the documentation of ActsAsVotable, we have this option scope. And here you see we have these vote scopes. So we can see that we can have a vote scope like rank or like or bookmark or whatever. And now let's try to create an ActsAsVotable with a vote scope. Well, let's, for example, start our Rails server, go to where we currently create our votes, go to controllers, posts controller, and here you see we add posts, upvote by or unvote by current user. And we are going to do this with a specific scope. So let's name the current scope as vote scope like. So vote scope like. And we'll add it everywhere here. Okay, now I will refresh. I will try to vote on a post once again. I'll take this post, for example. So I will upvote. And let's see the last vote that was created. I will start the console, Rails console, and go to ActsAsVotable vote.lost. And you see it has a vote scope like. So if we go vote.first, you see it doesn't have a vote scope like. And now we can filter out all our votes that have this scope like. And this is kind of a better approach to votes. If we have votes not only for likes, for example, but for a few different, well, let's say entities. We'll have likes, we'll have bookmarks, we'll have completion, we'll have watch later list. So you see we can add all these kinds of different types of votes with ActsAsVotable. Now let's say we've added the vote scope like. And let's say if current user voted up on a post, with this specific vote scope. Okay. And let's add the same vote scope to our view partials. So I'm going to views, posts, and here we have this, let's say, upvote link. If current user voted up on a post with a vote scope like, and we have our, do we have a downvote link? Yes, we do. So if voted with vote scope like. Now, will anything change here? Let's exit, start the Rails server. Okay, so we see there is one vote. Everything works as before for this post that already has a vote scope for like. Let me just see, does it unvote correctly? I'll press unvote, and it doesn't seem to be happening. Let's maybe see why. So I'll just go back to posts. You see these other posts, though they have this post, for example, has a vote from the current user, but we don't see an upvote or downvote because it is without a current scope. So let's maybe try to create a new post with all this logic that we have updated. And here I will try to upvote, works, unvote works, downvote, and unvote doesn't work. Okay, maybe I missed something. So vote scope like. Okay, I must also add this vote scope like here. Now trying once again, and it seems to be working. Now you see we have added this logic now, and we have some votes that don't have a vote scope. So let's maybe totally destroy them. Let's say Rails console and say ActsAsVotable vote dot delete all. Okay. And yeah, let's just check, just in case if we have any left. Dot count. Okay, no votes. Exit. So what we have done now, before we were not using any vote scopes, but now for the existing functionality, we have said that whenever we like or unlike a post, it will be given a vote scope of like. So let us save these changes. I will actually be doing it in a separate branch, git checkout branch, acts as votable scopes. Okay, and git status, git add all, git commit main, vote scope for like functionality. Okay, and now we can finally add our bookmarks. So we already have vote scopes for the default functionality, and we'll add a similar thing for our bookmarks. So I'm going to create a new action. I will name it as bookmark. And here, instead of the vote scope like, I will add vote scope bookmark. And I will also enable bookmark in the set post. Okay, then I'm going to add this bookmark in vote.js.erb. Now, at some time, we're going to get rid of vote.js.erb, and we are going to use, I think, some Hotwire turbo streams for this. But for now, until we start using Hotwire and Turbo in this specific application, we're going to keep using js.erb files. This is totally fine. And yeah, I'm going to create the link to bookmark. So bookmark here, bookmark, let's say link, and we'll create a partial named bookmark link .html.erb. And the same way we have our upvote link, I'm going to copy and go to our bookmark link. And the path is going to be bookmark post path method patch remote true. And we'll say if current user voted up on post, vote scope bookmark. Instead of thumbs up, we will have something like a star. Let's say FA star. And let's make it yellow. So we will add the warning. Yellow is a warning class in Bootstrap. And let's make it visible inside our views. So we have our post. Here we have our upvote link, like count, downvote link. Let's also add bookmark link. And we will also need the path to work. So I will go to our config, roots, and here I will add patch bookmark to posts bookmark. Okay, now I will start the server and see if it works. So I refresh. And here I have the star. So let's take one of the posts. I'll open it. And here I will try to upvote the post. And well, we got rendered this thumbs up. Okay, this doesn't seem to be working well yet. Let's see, what did we do wrong? So going to our bookmark. Yeah, the ID should be bookmark right here. Okay, I will refresh. I press bookmark. I press upvote, and it seems to be working. So when I press bookmark, it persists as yellow. And another problem is that this vote count increases. So this shouldn't be happening. This votes should be visible only for upvotes and for downvotes, not for bookmarks. So why is this so? Well, this is so because we have our cached votes score for our posts that counts the total votes on the post without any scopes, without bookmarks scope or without likes scope. Let's have a look at it. I will go to our DB schema. And here, remember when we were adding ActsAsVotable, we have added cached votes total, cached votes score, up, down, and so on. And we rendered these, and they don't take into account our votes scope. So what if we want to have these stats for a vote scope? Well, we can have it thanks to the gem ActsAsVotable once again. We can add the cached scope, and we would have the name of the scope. So cached scope, bookmark votes total, or cached scoped like votes total. So this is what we're going to add now. And I'm thinking of actually removing this previous functionality for cached votes calculations. Instead, we're going to have only scoped votes calculations. Okay, let's maybe first save our changes. So git status, git add all, git commit main bookmark bookmarks with ActsAsVotable. Okay, so let's try adding vote scopes to our posts with a migration. Now to speed up performance, cached columns. Okay, so it is the default functionality, and we're going to add cached votes to posts. So let's say Rails generate migration, add cached votes to posts. Okay, we have another migration with the same name. That's why we're going to name it differently. Let's say cached like votes to posts. Okay, let's have a look at the migration. Add cached liked votes to posts, and we will add these lines. Change table posts, cached scope to, and instead of subscribe, we will have liked. Is liked or like? How do we have it here? Like. Okay, cached scoped, like votes, average, total, and so on. Okay. And we can actually remove the previous columns. Let's go to our previous migration. We added the cached votes to posts, and we will remove these lines. We don't need the total of bookmarks plus likes, for example. It isn't something useful. So I will say something like remove column. Then I will say cached votes and so on. And I will say the name. Okay, so remove column, cached votes, and so on. The ones that are without a scope. Yeah, and I also need to name the table. So I will say posts. Looks fine. Okay, let's run the migration. Rails db migrate. Okay. And do we need to do anything else? Let's see if it works. I will start the server. Now we should have an error because we are trying to reference columns that don't exist anymore. We had cached vote score. Instead, we're going to call cached liked vote score, something like that. Cached scoped like votes score. So we shall go to like count. Let's find this partial views, posts, like count. Cached vote score is been replaced by cached scoped like votes score. Okay. And we should also update our model where we will calculate the percentages of likes and dislikes. So we will go to models, post.rb, cached votes up will be replaced with cached scoped like votes up. And here also cached scoped like votes total. And same here. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, undefined method cached votes total. There is somewhere else where we need to update it in the progress partial. Let's go there, go into progress. Post cached scoped like votes up. Okay. Now let's try once again. I will delete all the likes that are present in the application at the moment. Let's find ActsAsVotable vote count dot delete all, exit Rails server. Okay, now I try to downvote, unvote, upvote, unvote, star. You see when I star, nothing changes, only I get the star. So it works. You see, now these calculations are affected only by the scope like. So if I go to the list of posts, you see, I can see the ones that are bookmarked by me, the ones that are unliked or liked, and everything seems to be working perfectly and quite responsibly, not responsibly. Okay, so looks good. And this is how you can work with scopes in ActsAsVotable, and you don't need to add additional columns to handle this kind of behavior. You already have it all inside ActsAsVotable. So the same way we did bookmarks, we can also add something like watch later or completed. Let's try to add some button like completed or a button like add to watch list. But first, let's save our changes. Git status, git add all, git commit main, add cached like votes to posts, git push. Yeah, now we can have a look at our pull request. We can actually create one. I'll go to the repository. Okay, so we can create a new pull request. The name is fine. And let's create the pull request. And here we can see all the changes and all the commits that we did. So it's a better approach to implementing new features. And then when we'll be merging it, when we think that we've finished work on this feature, we will press merge pull request and we will merge it into the main branch of our application. So looks fine. Now let's go back and actually add something like completed or watch later. Now, which one should we add? Well, which one should we add? I think we can do it this way. We can add a functionality where we will have watch later and mark complete in one same scope. So, for example, let's write it down somewhere. We will have posts action to def, for example, either watch later or mark complete. And there will be 3 different states. So there will be no state where we don't have an ActsAsVotable. Then if we mark something as false, then it will be watch later. If we mark as true, it will be marked as complete. So we will have one vote scope for with a false value to watch later and true value like watched or marked complete. For example, we can say it will be named as a watch list. And in the watch list, we will have a false value and a true value. Okay, so let's add the logic. I'll make it here on the bookmarks. Okay, so let's add this logic example here. We will have if current user voted up on, let's say, watch list. Then we will unvote like this. Let's just comment this out for now. So we are just adding another scope watch list, and for ourselves, we decide if there is nothing set, then it is not in the watch list. If it is false, then it is in watch later. If it is true, it is complete. Okay. Now let's add the watch list here in the before action. And for now, we seem to be done with the controller. So again, no, we are not done yet. We have only unvote and upvote. So maybe we want to have something like add to watch list and mark as complete. And we'll just be using the same scope. So let's create one more action. In one action, we will be adding to the watch list, and in the other, we'll be adding to complete. Okay, so complete is going to be the true value. So if voted up on, then it is complete. And if voted down on, it will be watch later. So watch list. Okay, so watch list is something like the downvote. If voted up on, then we unvote or we downvote. So watch list is working like downvote and complete is working like upvote. We'll say downvote and upvote. Okay, this must kind of make sense. Okay, let's now try adding the buttons. Now we have watch list here, and we will also add the complete. Okay, see, we have so many buttons connected with ActsAsVotable 5 already. We might want to abstract them out of the post controller at some point of time. So we've added these in the controller. Let's add them inside our roots. We have bookmark, we will have complete, and we will have watchlist. Okay. Now we can close all these tabs that we are not using at the moment. And let's go to our views. So we have a downvote link, and in a similar fashion, we will create a, now what do we have? We have a watch list in the downvotes, I guess. Yeah, watch list is acting as downvote. So we will create a file, watch list link. And here we will copy the code from downvote, but we will replace the word downvote with watchlist, and the word like will be replaced by watchlist. Okay. And now we are going to create a complete link. And it will mimic the behavior of upvote. Now, the upvote is going to be replaced by complete. And like will be replaced by watchlist, the scope. Okay. Now we are also going to go into our Vue.js ERB and yeah, get yet another element. So now we have like, upvote, downvote. In a similar fashion, we will add the complete. And it will go to complete link. And we will have watchlist going to watchlist link. And now we will add these two links inside our post partial. So let's try to render a link for complete and a link for, now again, a link for complete and a link for watchlist. Okay, let's see if it works. I might not be forgetting anything. Let's just see. Okay, let's leave the buttons as they are now. I will upvote, downvote. So you see, it seems to be working kind of independently. Again, I will try. This works independently. And this also seems to be working independently. Okay, looks fine. And now we can just change the meanings. So let's go to our downvote link. Oh, no, not downvote link, but let's say complete link. And let's add something like a check mark. Let's find an icon that looks like a check mark. Font awesome icons. And let's find something like check mark or completion like complete. Why is it taking so long? Okay, let's say check square. For completion, and something like a to-do list for watch later. Okay, like clipboard list for watch list. Okay, the clipboard list isn't available. Clipboard. Let's maybe say not FAR, just FA. Okay, it seems to be available now. So I say this one, and you see these buttons work just together, and they don't interfere with the functionality of bookmarks or for upvoting and downvoting. So looks good. And here you see we have 3 different scopes of votes that work totally independently. So looks good in my opinion. And now, for example, we can save our changes and try to find some scoped posts for a user, let's say. Anyway, I will first find the scopes. Let's say Rails console and say user.lost and say .find voted items with a vote scope that is like, for example. Okay, let's say .count. So this user liked 4 posts. Let's say find upvoted items 3. And let's do the same with the bookmark 2. So the user has 2 bookmarks and 3 upvoted, 3 liked items. So this is a good way to search posts that a specific user bookmarked or liked or didn't like or added to a watch later list, for example. So I think that's it for now. Thanks for being with me, and we'll continue later on.